And it's Monday, y'all, and I hope everybody had a great weekend. I can't believe it. 10 days away from Christmas. It's coming way too fast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please do us a favor, hit like, subscribe. We would love it. We're trying to grow the channel, but without further ado, my main man, Jersey Fred. Jersey Fred, what is popping, my brother?
Oh, man, it's just beautiful. Enjoying the beautiful weather out here.
Yeah. Fred's in Michigan. And speaking of weather, Fred's brought to us by Comfort Plus Heating and Cooling for all your HVAC needs. Now, yesterday I spent the day with Fred. We watched the game together. First game we got the chance to watch together. If you notice his background and all his father-in-law's, what do you call it, Fred? The accolades?
Yes.
All the accolades here.
From St. James.
Of St. James. But speaking of warm, we were in the garage the whole time, and Beatles got that place just fired up, ready to go. Yeah. There's no better man cave around.
No, the heater on here, I don't even have it. It's just on very low right now. And I mean, you can't even crank it past 3 without getting too hot in here. So it's perfect. You saw yesterday, right? T-shirt, it's fantastic in here. Plus you get to see all the accolades and all the things on the walls.
For sure. Yeah. And if you notice, right behind Fred's head, there's a little screen here. The pull down screen, we got there it is. That's where we watch the games at. We pop that bad boy down. Big old projector screen right there in Beatles' garage, which was awesome. So that's where I watched the Lions game, and that's where we're going to start. Start talking about the Lions, right? They lost to a very good NFC team. I think that it played out exactly the way we said it. We said it was going to be a shootout. Fred popped it, said it was going to be a great game, said it was going to be a shootout. In my opinion, the better team won. And my other opinion is the better quarterback won, without a doubt. I've been saying it for a good majority of years that he's been in this league, that he is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this league. He will be in the Hall of Fame. He is a Super Bowl winner and arguably probably going to be another Super Bowl winner this year, and has a very good opportunity. I haven't heard yet, before we get a little more into the Lions, Fred, you may know, is the Davante Adams injury a long-term thing? Have you heard anything on that?
I haven't heard anything yet. I just think that it's going to be we'll probably find out more later today.
Yeah. Which
I know obviously the Puka thing wasn't serious. It was cramps, but the Davante Adams thing will be, we'll find out more today.
Yeah. And I hope, obviously when he went down in the game, I was like, okay, that's helpful. Just like the CD Lamb injury in Dallas was helpful for us. I do wish he can continue the season, because I do want to see them do well. I would love to see an NFC team win the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, we're pro NFC here in Detroit.
And also, you're part of the whole Detroit Rams.
Did you by chance see the text I sent you last night of the girl who...
Mary showed me the video before you had sent it.
Okay.
And I'm like, was that from today's game? And she's like,
yeah. I'm positive it was a chick from Michigan wearing a Rams jersey who tried to kick another fan but slipped and fell 3 rows down.
Face plant.
And she was in heaven because they were serving Busch Lights. Obviously overserved. God bless her. Doesn't make her a bad girl, as my buddy Soup always says. Doesn't make her a bad girl. Just an off-balance kick, and she went stumbling about 3 rows down. And
face planted.
Just face planted.
Yes.
So, shout out to those Michigan Detroit Rams fans, who made their presence known at SoFi yesterday. The highlight of the game, though, was the Hutch interception. Chugging down, almost scored, got hawked.
Unfortunately, you had to take Frankie out. So you heard the screaming through the door.
Fred, I don't know if my wife wasn't paying attention at the part of the game or what, but she's like, Frank needs to go out. So I walk outside into the freezing cold to take Frank P. Now, like we said, we were watching the game in the garage. So I take Frank out, like, come on, Frank. I'm kicking him in the butt the whole time. Frank, go pee. Frank, go pee. Frank, go pee. I'm trying to get back. And all of a sudden, the garage erupts. Beetle loses his mind. Like, we just went to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, what happened? I first of all, I'm like, Frank won't pee. I throw him in the other room. I come running in, and I'm like, Beetle, what just happened? And I had to go on my phone.
When you walk in, they're scoring the touchdown.
I saw the same. I saw the ass end of St. Brown in the end zone, so I had to watch it on my phone. Frank's a pain in the ass sometimes, and shame on me because I should have had the wherewithal where we were at. I just jumped, go take Frank out because I don't listen. The last thing I want to do is have my dog pee in your in-laws' house.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean. But to your point, it's laminate, and he's a little dog.
He's got a little bladder. It's no big deal,
right? So I actually missed that live, but did get to see it. But Amon-Ra played an amazing game with 2 touchdowns. J-Mo had a hell of a game. And one of the things that I can say, I thought the offense looked obviously very good in the first half. We opened the field. We threw the deep ball, which was nice. It's something you did not see out of the Lions much this year. We did not run the ball. I can't say that we didn't run the ball well because we didn't run the ball as much as we were used to, which I like. Now I want to see a combo of both. I want to see both of these teams come together to be one. But I think the lazy take, and it's a stereotypical take from a Detroit Lions fan, which they want to blame the refs. And I've said this for weeks on top of weeks on top of weeks on top of weeks. Stop blaming the refs. Every team. I know that you're local, you're hyper local, and you think that everything just falls on the Lions. It's not the case. It's not the case. In fact, the Steelers won a game because of a bullshit call, and Fred even said it. It was a touchdown in Baltimore. I don't know if they put up a billboard in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore. I'm sorry, in Baltimore, complaining about the ref.
That's a Midwest thing. Billboards are Midwest things.
Billboards are a Midwestern thing, but stop blaming the refs. Here's the thing. And now Fred and I had
about the one touchdown.
Okay, I'm going to start there, right? I'm going to start about the touchdown, non-touchdown that everyone's complaining about. Now, Fred and I agreed to disagree live. He said the same thing that the ref said when the explanation came out, is that he bobbled the ball, then had control of the ball once he went through the goal, right? My argument was that he had the ball, his knee was down short, which 99.9% of Detroit fans have on Twitter and everything, and that he was short. Beatle's call was, yes, he did get the ball over there, but his leg was out of bounds. I believe that was his take on it.
His take was no catch at all. When he ended up rolling over at the end,
he didn't have control.
Was the ball still moving? So, if you're going to say he didn't have the control at the 1 yard line, but he had control when he passed, then where did he have the control if the ball was still moving? Kind of. Now, I'm not, like you said, I initially said to you that I felt and it ended up that's what the explanation was, and
it was verbatim. In fact, what you said was verbatim what the ref said in the explanation of the call.
And that's the only thing that and the only reason I said that was because I felt like the one hand was underneath, it was moving, and there wasn't enough to overturn it. They called it a touchdown. If they called it short, we might have had it short. But with that being said, I think, and you agreed with this too. If it wasn't a touchdown, it's 1st and goal at the half-yard line. I mean, And we're not talking about like that wasn't fourth down and goal. Like
No.
so like we're talking first and goal at the half yard line. So
On an offense that we couldn't stop. They were getting 4 or 5 yards a carry on every carry. So I mean, it was just a matter of time, you know. So that wasn't a big deal. One of the ones that I thought was kind of a big deal, it was when JMO was running in the end zone, he came across the field. He had a defender on him, and then that offside corner came through and like bumped him.
Yeah.
And threw him off. Now, if the ref had came out and said that the ball was uncatchable,
fine.
Which he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. And look, at the end of the day, JMO can catch anything in his area. He proved it the entire game because I want to say, and I picked out a specific play in general where, and I said that I looked over at both of you guys and I said, look, I don't want to critique a great play, but look where Goff threw that ball. Whereas if he threw it over, I think JMO would have scored. And I think that Goff has a hard time. Now, he looked good with JMO yesterday, but I think he has a hard time. I don't think he has a strong enough arm to catch JMO in stride over the top. He doesn't. But you know who does? Is number 9. Even at his age, even at whatever year it is now that he's playing, and he proved it, right? And that's the difference between the two quarterbacks. When we made this trade, I said right out the gate, I'm not a Goff guy. I'm a Stafford guy. The Rams got a better quarterback. And if any idiot in this city who was knocking Stafford from is insane to me because he's going out there and proving it. But the upside of the trade was all the other things that we got with that.
Yeah.
We have the Sam Laportas, we have the St. Brown, we have JMO, we have all these pieces that put this puzzle together and where we're at. Now, I don't think the Lions are out of it, right? We don't control our own destiny, but we do. We have to win out. Okay. So we play Fred Steelers at 4:00, which I can't wait to see because what we do here in Detroit, Fred, and you know this, you've been to games, regardless if the game is at 12, 12:30, 1, 4, 7, or Monday, we start drinking like the game is at noon. So the Detroit Lions fans are going to be pretty lubed up on Sunday night at a 4:00 game, thinking that it's a 1:00 game starting at 7 a.m. So it's going to be entertaining. I mean, the same fan that fell in SoFi, she'll probably be there too, but yet wearing a Lions jersey now, probably an old Stafford Lions jersey or a Barry Sand, maybe even like a
Spielman.
Like a Spielman jersey, right?
Yeah.
Drinking the Busch Lights, the tall boys, and then embarrassing her significant other that bought her the ticket.
Cutting cigs.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. But the Lions are not out. They are not out. No. They're still in it.
I thought of moving talking about the NFL playoffs now. It's not as if we don't have all the pieces in place, but technically, and this is my own rendition, is technically we have the pieces, they're just not in place yet. And if give me a minute to explain, like in the AFC, it's Bills and Pats, one wins, one's a wild card. It's Jacksonville and Houston, one wins, one's a wild card. It's the Broncos and Chargers, one wins, one's a wild card. That's 6 teams right there. Yep. Now, the only other team is the AFC North. If you don't win the division, you're out. So this game tonight for the Steelers is huge,
right?
Because you're not getting 2 teams out of the AFC North. That it is what it is. So this game tonight's huge. I will say this: Mike Tomlin, 22-0 on Monday night at home.
Insane stat, by the way.
On the line. So we'll see what happens tonight. Now, in the NFC, though, right? The same thing is going on, right? With with the playoffs. You have the Eagles, you have Tampa or Carolina, right?
Because the Carolina loss, like you were saying, was
Yeah.
huge for Tampa.
Yeah. So now you have the Eagles, you have Carolina or Tampa. You have 3 teams in the West, right? Now you're at 5. You already know that 2 teams are coming out of the NFC North.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of who ends up 1 and 2 in your division that goes to the playoffs. You already know right now how the playoffs are going to end up. You don't know what rankings are going to be, but you do know who's going to be in the playoffs. So right now in the NFC, it's really coming down to the 2 teams in the North, like who comes out of Bears, Pack, Lions. Now, I think also Tampa plays Carolina this week, if I'm correct.
I'm not sure 100%.
Yeah, so so there are a couple great games. It's winding down. It is what it is.
It's already we're already in like playoff football mode.
Yeah, because we know exactly, like I was just explaining, we kind of know who's going to be in the playoffs. And now the one question is Steelers Ravens in the AFC. Like that's the only real question you have. There are some teams that aren't technically eliminated, but it's over. So I'm hoping that the Dolphins feel like they're technically eliminated.
Yeah, I got you there. I mean, here's how I see it going. And I said this last week. I predicted that we would not beat the Rams. I knew they're hot coming in right now. We win the rest. We end 11-6, just like I said last week. And the January 4th in Chicago is going to be a huge game. It's going to be a huge game. Like I said, I feel like we'll do well against the Steelers. I'm not really overly concerned about that, Fred. I'm sorry, but I don't. I think you're on the same boat. Right.
I agreed on that one.
Yeah, and then we go Minnesota, which off camera, right before we started the show, I said to Fred, are we a little nervous in Detroit about Minnesota? They already beat us once, but we didn't play well at all. And then, like I said, Bears. So we go Steelers, Bears on Minnesota on Christmas, and then Bears January 4th in Chicago, which could potentially be a huge game. But the Bears' schedule is tough too, Fred, because Bears go to the Pack, then they go 49ers, then they go us. They could go 0-3 to end the season and crush the whole Bears season, which would be amazing.
And be eliminated from the playoffs.
The other thing too, Fred, is that Packers suffered some big a big loss, not just on the field, but off the field with Micah Parsons going down. They had a couple other injuries. But Denver looks good. Bo Nix looks good, Fred. I know that your take was, correct me if I'm wrong, we won't see the Broncos, the Colts, or the Ravens in the Super Bowl from the AFC.
No. Pats, Colts, Ravens. No, I'm sorry. Pats, Broncos, Colts, Steelers. The top 4 at the time.
At the time,
that I meant, So Pats and Broncos, Colts, I believe that we both agree that they're out. I think that me as a Steeler fan and you knowing me, I think we could both agree that we were not going to see the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So it comes down now to what I was saying was, so now we're down to the Pats and the Broncos. And I still believe today that we won't see either one of those teams in the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this question. Who's the better team, Pats or Broncos?
If they played on a neutral site, let's say, I think the Pats win that game.
Okay. Because Drake May's better than Bo Nix? Or the all-around team is better?
I think the all-around team, I think. But I think, that's just how I feel. I'm not saying, and Bo Nix had a crazy game yesterday. He had 4 touchdowns. But there are some other teams that are popping up that are pretty hot. The Bills winning on the road in New England, I think scared the shit out of the Pats.
100% going up, being
Up
down
21
21.
nothing. Yeah. And the
21.
Chargers look good. Jacksonville, Houston, so, I'm not worried about what I said is going to be true.
No,
I'm pretty confident in that. So, I know I took a lot of heat from some Pat fans on TikTok and stuff like that, but like they're shitting themselves today anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I think you have a lot of haters on TikTok, though, Fred.
You know what it is? You know what the hate stems from one thing.
The hat.
People get obsessed when they see the Yankee hat. It's like some people just can't control themselves. The jealousy just spews out of their body, right? And I could be talking in favor of them. They don't hear it. It's all blurred, right? All they see is, is the evil empire, and they can't hold it in, and that's what it stems from, and which is fine, and I don't care, and I wear my hat everywhere, and that. I've wore it in Fenway. It's like,
let me ask you this question. Has there been a time where you're getting ready to go somewhere and you get dressed, you put the hat on, and your wife looks at you and says, "This is neither the time nor the place"?
Yes. And it's not the hat. It's just a hat in general. So,
fair. But you own any other hats though?
Yeah, I got the Wotown. I sometimes, like when I went to my my hometown football game last year, wore the Wotown fitted.
Okay. Why don't you tell the Midwesterners what the Wotown hat is, including your friend Brad here?
West Orange, New Jersey, Wotown.
Okay. Ohio of the East.
No, just God's country. New York Metro, the sixth borough. The sixth borough is New Jersey. So Wotown is just up in Essex County, West Orange, New Jersey. Wotown. Okay. Yo-Town ain't Wotown because no town is Wotown.
There you go. There you go. A couple other things I want to talk about too, outside of Lions Steelers, is Chiefs dynasty's over.
Yeah,
they're officially eliminated from the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes goes down with what they seem to believe is an ACL injury, which is unfortunate because on Christmas Day we're going to watch Gardner Minshew.
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
Where do you see the Chiefs next year?
I think they were speaking about this on one of the post-game shows. Listen, it's not going to be one of those things where it takes 30 years for them to come back into relevancy. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs next year. Andy Reid is a genius. Patrick Mahomes is a stud. They get one or two pieces, and they're back in the playoffs. Now that Denver and the Chargers seem to be, on the rise as a whole organization, right? Even if the Broncos don't make the Super Bowl this year, they're still a great team. There's a tougher road for the Chiefs now, which is one of the other reasons that kind of you got to throw that into the mix. But yeah. I don't see that. It's not going to take a decade for them to be relevant again. I'm not saying they're going to go to four Super Bowls in a row, right. Again, but I just think that they're going to be relevant again. I don't know this injury. I don't know what they're saying. Like he may miss a little.
Way too early.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs next year.
Is there a Chiefs team next year without Travis Kelce?
Possibly, and I don't even know if you notice.
Fair. Now, what about how much longer does Andy Reid have? I mean,
that's the other thing. Now, what he did,
because
like
let me before you answer that, because this is going to be kind of like a two-parter, is if Travis and Andy Reid are done after this season, what happens to the Chiefs? And is that even a possibility?
I'm not sure what the Andy Reid contract is, and I don't believe in contracts anyway. So yes, he could do whatever. He could be the coach of the Giants, next year. We don't know that.
Or the Wolverines.
He may. I'm not sure he would downgrade, but like, I just think that. What does the Chiefs look like? I don't know. I don't know if Andy Reid leaves Patrick Mahomes.
Stays with him.
I think so, and I think they're fine. I think they're fine. I think, like I said, I'm not going to be surprised when we possibly see the Chiefs in the playoffs next year. I don't see that team with Andy Reid and the other pieces they have. Forget Travis Kelce. They have a ton of pieces. I don't see a team like that just being under 500 too many times in a row. They lost a couple close games this year too.
Yeah.
And I
mean, games that they would have won. I mean, shit, Fred, was it last? I think it was last year. They spent the entire year winning games by a last second in the last half a minute to a minute and a half. Like, you can only do that so long.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the Broncos' schedule this year and check out all their finals, I mean, they have a handful of games that they've won, on the last drive, or
Right.
So,
now the way that the game schedule work and the setup that we had, we didn't have the opportunity to watch the 44-year-old Phillip Rivers go on Sunday. So what we did is we set Fred up in the corner and he gave us updates as to the stats of Phillip Rivers. And then we both watched Phillip Rivers highlights after the Lions game. And I don't know. I mean, 1,800 days since he's played last, 44 years old. I'd have to say he played well.
So yes, of course. Yeah, I think he played well. Also, my main point here with the Phillip Rivers situation is, now, if I told you that Danny Dimes played and they lost by a last-second field goal, I think no one would blink an eye. So, like, I'm not sure the result would have been any different.
I totally agree. You're playing against a good Seahawks team, which didn't play well offensively, obviously, with 16-13 win or so.
I don't know if, like, Danny scores more points, a couple but the fact of the matter is, if Danny Dimes had not gotten hurt last week, this is not a surprising result. Like you don't go into the 12th man and just dominate anyway. But like, it's not, I don't think it was that. I thought it was a great game, and for Phillip Rivers, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was a cool story, man. It was a cool story. Yeah. It made every mid 40-year-old male look over in the closet, look at the old cleats. Should I dust them off? Like, Uncle Rico, for sure. Now, last thing before we move on from NFL football is, last week we got a lot of activity on TikTok with my take on who was the most disappointed fan base in the NFL right now. And it got a lot of comments, a lot of people, a lot of home-ish people saying it was them, right? And I had a problem with a couple of the responses. And when I asked the question, number one, the team that I had in mind, and we got a lot of these, was the Washington Commanders. The expectation of this team was Super Bowl or bust, coming off last year's season, adding why am I'm having a brain freeze there. Who did they add from San Francisco?
Debo.
Oh yeah, adding Debo, like that was going to be the piece they were missing on offense. They filled some holes on defense, and this was going to be the year. So my vote number one was the Washington Commanders, hands down. I don't think there's another more disappointed fan base out there. A lot of people, which I thought was interesting, Fred, were saying the Colts. And I totally disagree, because there's no way as a Colts fan prior to this picking up a unproven, we'll say, Danny Dimes, and thinking he was going to come out with those.
No way.
You're grateful. I think you're grateful, not disappointed, right?
I think they were, the opposite. Now, the situation, I saw some people were like explaining the situation. Well, starting off with a record of blah, 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 and then an injury. Yeah, but no, that's not, I'm not saying who's the most disappointed
at the time
right today, because you could say, the Lions now. We're so pissed. But we mean in general as a whole. And I kind of felt the other way was there was a lot of people saying the Chiefs. Dude, you go to like 7 straight AFC championships and then you have a bad season. I doubt they're disappointed. Like,
Fred, they're disappointed because they're not making the playoffs. But in a whole, to your point, here's another one that I thought was super interesting, and I'm shocked that you didn't comment. And I think there was more than one of them. Was a Steelers fan.
2.
Fred,
there was 2. There was 2 people Fred, on there.
Let me ask you this, and I know the smile on your face. If I was to tell you in the beginning of the season that come December 15th, you with a healthy-ish Aaron Rodgers is going to be top of your division, you would have ate that up all day.
Yeah. First of all, I thought they would have around 10 wins. And that's not, anything, whatever, they're at 7. If they can win tonight and beat Cleveland, they're at 9. I think that's where they top off, to be honest. I'm not sure they beat, I've said it, and I'm not sure they beat the Lions, and I'm not sure they beat Baltimore 2 times in a row in a season. So,
and let's be honest. I think that a prediction of 10 wins comes with a little emotion and a little fandom.
Of course. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, listen, before Rodgers, though, I was saying 6-7 wins.
Right.
I didn't mean it like that. 6-7. Yeah.
So would you agree with me that it's Washington, or do you feel that there's another fan base?
No, I mean, I think there's a couple probably disappointed franchises. I think that the Commanders are one. Definitely, I agree with that. I think there's probably a couple others that are probably a little disappointed as well. Getting Pickens and, that offense. I mean, maybe I think they probably, the Cowboy fans probably could be a little disappointed.
But I think that's just a Cowboy mentality. Like, we're used to this.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. I just mean when you look at some of if you're a fan and you're a realist and you look at it on paper, right?
Go ahead.
Well, I just mean you're looking at it on paper, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it on paper before the season, and we spoke about Aaron Rodgers, and I told you I didn't even want Aaron Rodgers. I don't care.
Yeah.
It was so. Now, I didn't think that Chill Will is the man. I don't think that he will be a starter. We all know that Mason Rudolph is not a starter. But I didn't want Aaron Rodgers. We're in this gap year of, Russ Wilson, Justin Fields, and now Aaron Rodgers to fill this void of of the terrible Kenny Pickett, draft choice.
Which, by the way, you said was going to be the man.
Kenny Clark.
But here's where I think the Aaron Rodgers thing doesn't do you any service, right? You have let's say they finish with 9-10 wins, okay? Losing the first round of the playoffs. What did
worst thing that could happen?
Exactly. Like, what did this year do for you? So they put you in the middle of the draft. it doesn't give you a lot of
Well,
room to make some high draft picks unless you move some things around or you make a big move.
I just feel like, and this is just my opinion on this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, is we end up winning the division, going to the playoffs, losing in the first round. Maybe it's close,
Yeah.
Whatever. They sign him next year.
Oh, that would be bad.
That's the difficulty of what's going on. And so this is what happened towards the end of Ben's career, right? When Ben couldn't move like he used to, we still ended up, 500, just over 500 and making the playoffs for those last 2 seasons when he should have been I feel like if we didn't go to the playoffs, maybe he would have hung him up.
Right. I think this is the argument too with the Mike Tomlin thing is though there's not a person on this planet who will say that Mike Tomlin's not a good coach. He's a phenomenal coach. But I think that this is where that argument goes is if we're going to continue to stay like this, we can't be in a full rebuild. And we're not in a situation where we're going to make a huge run. And we're in this purgatory, right?
Well,
Bills-ish situation.
Well, it sucks that, if somebody tells you we're going to hire a coach and he's never going to have a losing record, I think
take it all day long, especially as a Lions fan.
So now that's not good enough.
Right.
So,
it's a tough spot to be in.
And I do agree, though. It's a similar situation with Tomlin. The more seasons that he makes the playoffs, even if it's a first-round knockout, yeah. I mean, you make the playoffs, 7 out of 8 years or 6 out of 8, or I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of teams would sign up for that.
For sure.
So
would.
I mean,
let me hit you with another question, kind of like the opposite of the fan base. What fan base would you say is the
most surprised?
I wasn't expecting this.
I'm going to go maybe the Broncos. I think the Broncos knew they were trending up. I don't think they knew they were going to get the 1 seed.
I think that's a great answer, Fred. I think off the top of my head, because I literally just came up with this question as we were talking, maybe the Houston Texans?
Yeah, they're not there yet, though. Yeah, but
are they not there yet, Joe? Fred, have you watched their defense lately?
No, I think they're there as a team. I just don't. If they don't win the division, then I don't know if that's
fair.
But they still have a chance to win the division. I don't. And listen, I think Pats fans are a little surprised.
They won't not admit it. Find me. Here's the thing. And I hope somebody drops a comment in there. Find me a Pats fan who's going to be like, yeah, I'm really surprised that we're doing this well. I don't know if it's an arrogance of the past or what, but
no one's saying they were going to be bad. I don't think that they truly thought that they would be,
Find someone that's going to admit that, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. It's that Boston mentality.
100%. Right. Okay. Big week of football next week, but we got to move on. Obviously, the talk of the town here, Fred, and you're in town, so you get it firsthand. But I think this is across the country right now. Is Sharon Moore and the Michigan Wolverines. Now, anybody who's following the story, I think you have to be living under a rock to not know what's going on by now, because we're almost 4 or 5 days into the story. It's very unfortunate the way things unfolded on a personal level for Sharon Moore. Let me just kind of say that, and for his children and his wife, and the situation and how he unfolded after this whole thing, it's unfortunate. It is absolutely unfortunate that he put himself in that situation. And, in a situation that both Fred, you and I agree, we've been saying from day one that he shouldn't have been. He really shouldn't have been. I wholeheartedly think there's a reason that Jim Harbaugh left him behind and didn't take him to San Diego or to the Rams, or I'm sorry, the Chargers with him. And with that being said, it kind of puts another taint on the Harbaugh legacy in Michigan. Like, if you knew this was going on and you're about the team, and all about Michigan men, why did you leave him in this position? And I said for a long time that I believe that Michigan put Sharon Moore in this position to just let the water kind of settle, right? We don't know what the sanctions are going to be with the whole cheating scandal, all this stuff. We're going to put him in place, and then we're going to make a big run. And Fred, you said this yesterday, and this was an outside opinion coming in, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, is if I'm a Michigan football fan right now, I am ecstatic that we are in the hunt for a new coach. And why is that, Fred?
I mean, I don't think that I think that maybe Sharon Morris was a good coach and you had some good records, right? I'm not sure.
I can't agree with you on that, but I mean, you play shitty teams. You have a mediocre coach. You wasted a freshman year of Bryce Underwood, in my opinion. But that's just a personal thing.
I mean, 9-3 this year is. I mean,
9-3. I mean, you hammered Macomb Community College week 1. You took on Saginaw Valley week 2. Like, get out of here. Like,
yeah. I mean, listen. I don't think he was a terrible coach or anything, but if you're a U of M football fan, you're ecstatic right now. It's time
let's take the personal drama and all the bullshit and the legal things outside.
Yes. Now you can go. You can make that move, because what happened was, like you said, I believe that Moore was probably a coach of default after the championship. Hey, no one gives a shit right now. We just want a natty, like, Yeah. And now I think that the fans were getting a little uneasy about, the team and the direction it was going. They do have a crazy class coming in, though. But I think that
that's if everyone stays too. Like we talked about that. Like they still have a chance to move if the Wolverines don't make a decision here quickly on who that's going to be.
Like, getting a new coach is always exciting.
Yeah.
Always. So like I think that I don't feel that people the Wolverine folks out there thought that Moore was the next guy. So here's your chance now to get a new coach. Like that's huge right now. There's a lot of big names they're talking about. Like, it'll be interesting. You could change the whole identity of the team right now and take this sour, note right now and make it into a positive. You could turn this whole situation into a positive, because if you get a new coach and what you're gonna, but when you have clean slate, you're moving on. Penn State did it,
Great point.
Nobody thought they would be like relevant. And they moved on, and everyone, and I'm not saying this in a harsh way or anything. Everyone forgot about it, and no one talks
let's
about it.
Be honest, that's way worse than Michigan. Right. So,
yes, I agree. I agree.
And they recovered from it.
But with that being said, I just think you should be very excited. Forget all this bullshit that's going around, especially here locally. I'm sure it's nationwide, but like out here, it's all over.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
So, and I think that without talking about it, I think everybody knows what happened. It is what it is now, and we'll see what the consequences are. He's not going to serve any time. If you saw the charges, he's got a 3rd-degree felony. He's got 2 misdemeanors. I'm assuming the 3rd degree will get dropped to a 4th degree. He'll end up probably doing probation for a year, maybe an ankle bracelet. I don't know, for a little bit, but like, he's not going to prison. So is his career over? Maybe he ends up getting a D or a coordinator job somewhere. maybe not this year.
Maybe
in
not
a
for a couple
couple
of years.
in a couple seasons from now, maybe he's back somewhere else. And again, and I'm not saying this in a positive light, it will be forgotten eventually, which is terrible. And he'll be back somewhere,
Okay.
like not around here, but
No,
but he will be back. And I don't think that I'm the one thing I will say is, and this is not sports related, I hate the whole like blaming her, and like, because out here it's like they're dragging her across the mud, and it just seems like, blaming her for this whole thing is I don't know who's a victim here, right?
I mean,
Because
they're both at fault.
Yes, they're both at fault. I feel though that, he's got 3 kids at home and a wife. I think he should be a little more conscious of that.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I think everyone knows pussy is undefeated. So that undefeated, never lost, never will, never lost. So, I mean, and he found out the hard way,
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Nope. Please let me pull myself together here. We talked about this yesterday, and I didn't bring this one up when we were watching the game, but I think the 2 crazy hires I would love to see Michigan do, but I don't think they'll do it. Number 1 would be John Gruden. Would be an amazing hire, I think, but I don't think it's not in the Michigan playbook to make a splash like that. I think that talking about somebody that can turn this program around, I do. And then the other one, and we did touch on this a little bit yesterday, was Deion. They said give Deion a facility and an NIL, unlimited NIL money. Like, let's see what he can do. Again, not a thing Michigan would do.
No.
Deion is not the type of guy, again, my opinion, is not the type of guy who's going to listen to authority. He's going to do what he wants to do, what he thinks he needs to do to win. And we all know that the Michigan alumni and the Michigan board and the athletic director at Michigan, whoever that may be, when this is all shakes out, but it looks like it's probably going to be the same, is ultimate the decision makers at the university, and they control everything. They control the narrative, they control what goes on in the field. And I just don't think a Deion-ish guy is going to adhere to something like that or sign up for something like that. Those would be the 2 like crazy. Well, it would get me excited. Right?
That's your wish list.
Yeah, that's my absolute top wish list. Now, the Kalen DeBoer situation, I don't know if that's even possible coming from Alabama. There is ties that he's had talks with Michigan in the past prior to taking the Alabama job. We talked about this briefly. It was like the Army or the Navy guy. Like, where do you – and you said that you think that Michigan's going to stay conservative.
Yeah, I see – I just feel as if you're going to get a guy that most people now, college football fans will know exactly who this person is. I don't want to catch no heat about not knowing who the defensive coordinator at Louisiana Tech is, but you're going to get a guy that is not a household name.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a Michigan guy, though, I want like Uncle Nick to come out of retirement. I want like something huge. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking, maybe Pete Carroll. Like, I mean, the Raiders job's terrible.
Oh, terrible. But Fred, we had to start with Michigan because of, what's going on, but we didn't really bring up the best college football team in this state. The Ferris State Bulldogs are going to the national championships for the 4th to win their 4th, I think it is, in 5 years.
I believe so. And I watched that game.
We both watched the game.
I actually texted you asking you if you were going to be there.
You called me weak for not going. First of all, if anybody watched that game, it was freezing there.
was, but if my alma mater was playing, an hour and a half
First of all,
away,
Seton Hall doesn't even have a football team.
but I would be there though. I'd be there. I would be an hour and a half.
Your wife would
away.
have you in Michigan celebrating the holidays with your family. You would not be in Jersey
No,
at Seton Hall.
No, said if my team was playing an hour and a half away for the D2 semifinals, 2 hours
hour and
away.
a half. Where do you think an hour and a half is? Where you think that Big Rapids is an hour and a half away from Rochester?
I have no clue.
By plane, it's a 2.5 hour drive.
That's nothing. You
get do that on my head.
If my alma mater was playing in the semifinals of the D2 championship, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 away, I would be
5 degrees and snowing.
I wouldn't even realize the weather. I would be there cheering my alumni on, as an alumni.
You're so full of shit. You got that heater in the garage on 3.
But I did watch the game, though.
I did watch the game.
Yeah, I did too. The conditions are a little crazy. I totally get the whole home field advantage stuff, and I think that's cool and stuff. But it was to the point where it was like guys tiptoeing coming out of their break and stuff like that. So it was a little, and it was close at one point, and then just totally got out of hand.
Yeah, it did get out of hand. So I just think it's not. Sarah and I have this conversation too, and I just don't understand, especially in the NFL, why these stadiums are outdoors. Like, it is obnoxious to me that you still have Lambeau, Soldier Field, even Pittsburgh. Like, come on, come on, get with the times. Like, I get the nostalgia thing. But, obviously it's a money thing in Big Rapids, and I think they're going to make an adjustment. But it's a player safety thing too, man. Like, it's cold. Your body is not adjusting. You're susceptible for injuries in the cold. You're playing a little apprehensive, kind of, Fred, to your point, with the stutter stepping out of the breaks. It's just not safe for these kids, man. It's not safe at all. And as a fan, you want to go watch the game, but I'm not driving 2.5 hours to sit in negative degrees to watch these guys play. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I've always said, the best thing about Ford Field is the roof.
It sure is.
It's glorious.
So now we fly down to McKinney, Texas, and which I was there 3 years ago and watched them win their first, I think it was 3 years ago, their first national championship. It was cold when I went there, Fred. I told you that yesterday, but it's supposed to be 70 degrees on Saturday. I have a lot of friends that are going. I will be watching 3 o'clock, actually. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. We play against Harding University. So, let's see. Yeah. Which I would take the Ferris State Bulldogs, and they're probably favored highly in this game. But it's I hope it's a good game. But I think Ferris is going to win it, and go Bulldogs. Moving on, NBA. Pistons are looking good, dude. Pistons are 20-5 right now. They're at the top of their division. 6-game lead. Pretty nice. I think the boys are playing well. But you had a question that you wanted to ask the people. What's that, Fred?
Will OKC break the Warriors' single season wins record
of 73, right? 73 is the number. 73 is the number.
They're currently at 24-2. They were 24-1. They ran into Wemba on Saturday in the semifinals of the Cup. So, do you think so? I mean, I think it's definitely possible. Obviously, I think with the young team, the way they are, they're similar to how the Warriors were. There's not a lot of load management. There's not a lot of guys taking nights off. So, I think it's definitely possible. I'm going to say they break the record.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you on that, and I just don't see them breaking the record. With the competitions that out there, injuries, it's a long NBA season. I think that magic of like the Bulls and the Warriors, I think that I just don't see it happening. Do I see them probably going to the finals again? absolutely. I don't see that record being broken. That's a monster record, and that is just it's tough to keep up in this modern NBA with the competition in general. I just don't see it happening. All right, moving on. Go ahead.
Finals is tomorrow. NBA Cup.
Yes. That's Spurs and
Knicks.
Spurs Knicks.
Yeah.
Who's your winner?
I would like to say the Knicks, but I think Wemba takes it.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Spurs too. I was hoping you were going to be all in on the Knicks and we could put a little side action on that bad boy.
Oh, I mean, I would. I think the Knicks can definitely win. I just think like this whole Wemba thing, like he's out for a couple weeks. He comes back for the semifinals of the Cup and beats OKC. Coming off the bench, he wasn't even
phenomenal. I said it from the beginning of the season. He stays healthy. This team is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, they're the number 2, right? I don't think anyone's like doubting that. It's OKC and the Spurs.
Now, I think he comes to Detroit in like late January, early February-ish. I looked at the schedule. I hope to be at that game. I want to see him play live. It'd be really cool.
That would be awesome.
LCA, but I think it's like late January, early February or something like that the Spurs come to Detroit, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully I can wiggle a ticket away from Christian and get in there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got some shows that I watched in like, bro, it's so cold here. Like, if you guys want to make fun of my list of shows that I watched over the past week, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm an open target, but it's too cold, bro. It's too cold to go outside. It's too cold to do anything. I'm just looking for shit to watch, right?
Yeah.
And I started out with Anniversary, which was highly recommended by Nolan.
Yeah.
I broke down, Fred. I spent the $9.
Okay.
Now, it helped though, Fred, that Nolan doubled down and said if I didn't like it, he was going to pay me the money back and then double it. So he was going to Venmo me $18. Okay?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, paying the money on Amazon, I was at a win-win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I am here to announce that I am not going to ask Nolan for the money. I thought it was a good show. He called it a political drama, and when he said that, I was like, what does he mean by that? I'm not sure. When I watched the preview real quick, I thought it was going to be more of like the family hates the daughter and it's going to be crazy, but it literally the way that it came off as if we just got rid of democracy in general. And I think my wife's take was, this is what's going to happen when AI takes over the world. But it was a crazy movie with a crazy ending. I think it's a good watch. Over the holiday. Now, Nolan, I thought, put some accolades on this movie of like some movie of the year.
Yeah.
Those were his words, right? Now, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was good.
I have to watch that. I'm going to watch that.
You have to, Fred. You have to. The other show, because I finished Abstina. I always have a trouble with that. Great watch. If you're going to watch it. Season 1, season 3, great. Season 2, a little bit of a dull, but it kind of ties it back into season 3. So if you're at season 2 and you're struggling, hold on. So my wife says to me, Brad, I can't take these shows anymore. Like, it's a little too much intense. I need something a little, the heart rate's down. So we chose a movie on Netflix, a show on Netflix called Ripple. And I thought it was a good show. I love the rom-coms, Fred.
Yeah, and Mary just started that.
She did. Okay, good. I wonder if the girls talked about it yesterday. So it's basically a show about like things that happen in life.
It's like how people intertwining.
Yes, and things that happen that allow the trajectory of the way life goes. And like, if you really think about it, man, like I had a situation just recently where a guy, this is such a long story. I don't want to go drag on the story, but basically the listing agent of a house my client almost bought. And if he had purchased that home and not the one that he actually bought, the one that he actually bought was the house that I met Sarah on. And there's where I'm at today, right? He had that went in a different direction. And the short end of it was, he was like, I don't know if my kids want jet skis and live on the water or they want a pool. Thank God his children wanted an in-ground pool. Because if those little a-holes decided they wanted jet skis, I wouldn't be married to my wife right now. So, like, that's the kind of thing.
Yes, true. But if destiny is what you were going to get in life anyway, you would have met a different way.
Fair. Good point, Fred. What if something would have happened? What if you got really promoted at Home Depot at the time where you didn't even get the opportunity to meet Mary, and you would unfortunately have been stuck in the East Coast forever? Lost, Fred.
I think we
would have found the light of your life.
I think eventually our paths would have crossed.
When would it have crossed? When she just got all hopped up on booze with her friends and hit the Jersey Shore Snooki style?
That's not a reach.
You gaze over and she's just hammering down a corn dog and you're like, that's my girl? And she just fist bumped with the corn dog? I don't think it would have happened, Fred.
You
never know.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I know. I always
think a great watch.
I always think of where I would be today. Like, I mean, through my life, I've always thought of it.
If I would have done this.
Well, taking a certain job or like, yeah.
For sure.
It's pretty crazy.
It is. And that's what's cool about this show. It's a good watch. Give you something to watch. So I highly recommend it. I watched Oppenheimer for the first time.
Oh,
I know
great.
It's older, great movie.
Great movie.
I felt like there was a clip that Bob from Bob Duff Sports says, and he's like, I'm so terrible at American history. And how I know that I'm so terrible at American history, because I'm on the edge of my seat and every time one of these things come out. And that's how I felt. So I had to like Google Hiroshima, then I had to Google Pearl Harbor, and then like conjunction of how that all came out and transpired. But great watch. Yeah. And then last but not least, I watched F1 with Brad Pitt. Yeah. That was finally free because Nolan wouldn't double the payment on that one. So I waited for that one to be free. Okay. Huge Brad Pitt fan. Not an F1 fan, but I love the show. You know what, Fred? You asked me about this because I didn't quite finish it. I finished it when I got home last night after hanging out with you. I thought it was a modern day Top Gun.
Okay.
Right? It's kind of like bringing the old guy back, teaching the young kids some new, what it's like to be an old timer, and don't trust analytics, trust your instinct. Great little watch. Highly recommend it over the break. But if you guys got some, please, I'm in need. Fred, you're on one that I recommended a couple weeks back, All Her Fault.
Yes,
Thoughts I got on that one.
I have 1 episode left, 2 episodes left. Okay. So by next week, I will have a conclusion on that. Already, I think I told you, yeah, it's a good show. And I knew it would be a decent show. So yeah, I like that one. Next, Absentia, maybe Absentia. But I have to see what Mary has in the
hopper.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a lot. There's so much shit out there. Like,
yeah, I love Netflix is great, man. They come. You know what my biggest gripe is, and then we'll sign off for the day. And it is when I'm in those Netflix groups on Facebook, and then they recommend a movie. Everyone's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. And I went to pop it on, and I don't remember the name of the movie. And I watched the trailer, and the lips don't line up. Come on, it's 2025, approaching 2026. Like, we can't fix this problem. Looks like a great show. I can't do that. I can't watch that.
Some foreign movies that they dub over in English.
Yeah. Does anybody take the time and watch that with that delay? People don't do that. You got to be psychotic to do something like that, right?
It's tough. It's a tough watch. If it's something that's on and you're on your phone and you're just listening and paying attention that way, you can get by.
I'm minded to do that, Fred. I can't be like Sarah and Mary. Like, yeah, Sarah can like read a book, play a game on her phone, and still pay attention to what's going on TV. It blows my mind.
I have to put the phone down. Yeah,
I have to put the phone down. If I put my phone up, if you would have texted me, Fred, and I would respond to the text, I'm pausing it and I have to rewind it because I just missed 35 seconds because I'm going to be completely lost.
Yes, I agree. I love, and that's and you know what? Back to Nolan and the movies. That's what's so special about going to the movies. There is no anyone on the phone bullshit. Yeah. So, he was
spot on when he said that.
You're not bringing a fucking book in there, right. or playing games on your phone and I'm saying that as somebody who, not just watching the movie with somebody.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I love the unplugged.
Yep, I agree. And Nolan was spot on. Speaking of Nolan, we're going to sign off for the day and we're going to see you. But Fred, I am going to be hanging out with you tomorrow night. You are going to meet Nolan for the first time in person. Are you excited about that meet? I think you guys are going to hit it off. I'm excited for you guys to meet in person. We have a big event tomorrow. Very busy week this week with holidays. But Fred, you excited to meet Nolan face to face tomorrow?
Yeah, Nolan's my man. So I'm excited to see what's going on at this cigar bar or event or whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of cool dudes around and ladies and gentlemen. So it'll be good. What time? You're picking me up, aren't you?
We'll talk off camera, but I got to be there early. But I can for sure pick you up. But all right, you guys have a great week, Fred. I'll see you tomorrow. Go Lions! Take care, y'all.
Go Steelers!
Go Steelers tonight.